Whoops! I had my stream on I had the stream on my ending screen. Hello, everyone. I'm Metis Balaska, and welcome to the stream. So, last week we got started on Fate's Stay Night. I did a morning session. That's not going to happen anymore. I cannot take morning sessions. But yeah, that was only the prologue of the game, and now we are going to start the game proper. So, without further ado, let us get to the game. Hey, Nanalia, welcome to the stream. Thanks for the lurk. Okay, let's start a new game. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body, and fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death nor known to life, have withstood pain to create many weapons, yet those hands will never hold anything. So, as I pray, unlimited blade works. When I came to, I was lying in a burning field. It must have been a big fire. The familiar town was unrecognizable. Was an unrecognizable smoking ruin. It looked like a scene from a war movie. The night didn't last long, though. As morning dawned, the fires gradually died down. The towering walls of flame shrunk to embers, and most of the buildings looked to have collapsed. It felt so strange, being the only unchanged thing in town. I was the only one left alive. I was either fortunate, or the house I'd been inside was built on the luckiest ground of all time. Either way, I was the only one alive. Since I'd survived, I felt I needed to keep on living. I walked aimlessly, thinking it would be dangerous to remain where I was. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid becoming what had happened to everyone around me, those scorched, blackened masses. It wasn't a feeling of disgust. Some other emotion was driving me on. At the same time, I had no hope. It was a miracle I was alive at all, and I didn't think I was going to last much longer. There was just no way in hell I was going to survive. There was simply no way I would ever escape from this crimson hellscape, no matter what I did. That was how desperate, how hellish this place was, even through the eyes of a young boy. And then I collapsed. Either there was no air around me, or I simply couldn't breathe anymore. I just collapsed, and all I could do was look up at the slowly clouding sky. The scorched black masses around me lay motionless. The dark cloud covered the sky, promising rain. Good. The rain will pull out the fires. I took one final breath and looked up at the rain clouds. I couldn't breathe. I still felt pain. But I still felt pain. I said that out loud on behalf of all those people who couldn't say those words themselves. That was 10 years ago. Miraculously, in the midst of all that, I was saved. My physical body survived, but everything else was scorched, reduced to ash. When a young child loses their parent or their home, there's really nothing left for them. And so everything other than my body perished. Put it as simply as possible, in exchange for my body living, my heart died. I'm dreaming. I squinted, seeing a bright white light. It was blinding. Light stabbed at my eyes when I woke. I doubt I really knew what the sensation of blinding light was in the first place. Huh? What? As my eyes adjusted, I woke alarmed. I was lying in a bed and didn't recognize. I didn't recognize in a room I didn't recognize. I was honestly stunned, but the cleanliness of the white room made me feel at ease. Where am I? I looked blankly at my surroundings. The room was spacious, and the beds lined in neat rows. All the beds were full, and it looked like each bed's occupant was injured. But the room didn't feel depressing at all. Everyone injured survived. I let my eyes wander. I looked out the window. The blue sky was so incredibly beautiful. A few days passed, and I was finally able to take in the situation. I had no problem remembering what happened the day before. But I wasn't much different from a newborn during this time. Strange as it is, that was as close to the truth that might seem possible. The fire was just that bad. I was rescued from the fire. I awoke in a hospital. My parents were gone, and my entire body was wrapped in bandages. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I did know that I was alone. It didn't take long for me to accept my circumstances. Maybe I had no choice, really. All the other children were in the same boat. And then later, in the moment, and I, naive as I was, started to worry about what would become of me. He walked in. He appeared the day my bandages came off, and I started eating on my own. His hair was disheveled, his suit tattered. He looked a bit younger than my doctor. He looked more like someone's older brother than someone's father. His beaming smile seemed to blend into the pouring white sunlight. His voice was somehow irritatingly fake, yet extremely genuine. He was offering to take me in. I asked if we were related. He said we were complete strangers. He looked like an unremarkable, unreliable guy. But then again, he was no more or less familiar than the orphanage. So I decided to go with him. He started gathering my things hastily. Even as young as I was, I could see he wasn't any good at it. And after he made a mess packing,
うちに来る前に一つだけ教えなくちゃいけないことがある。
He turned, asking for confirmation. He asked so casually, as if asking me it was somewhere where I wanted to go.
はじめに言っておくとね、僕は魔法使いなんだ。
Do you know any party tricks? He said it in a serious, almost ceremonious manner. It happened so fast. Now that I think back, I was also immature. I just accepted his work as fact. I took it neither as a joke or a genuine statement. Really? That's so cool, Pops. I guess I said something like that, eyes wide with in astonishment. And I was his child. Actually, I don't really remember how that conversation went. But every now and then, my old man would bring it up. He would recount that scene over and over, acting all embarrassed. That scene might have been the happiest day of the old man, of my old man, a man named Kiritsugu Emiya's life. You can say that it was one thing for him to tell a recently ordered orphan and kid he was a magician. But I was no better, the way I so eagerly bought into it. I mean, you were a kid, so... And that was how my old man adopted me, and how I took the last name Emiya. Shiro Emiya. When I said that name out loud, I really felt proud of having the same last name as Kiritsugu. I'm dreaming. It's from my childhood. It's probably about 8 years ago, since it's about the time I talked my old man into making me his apprentice. Kiritsugu had started going away on a regular basis once I was old enough to stay home by myself. He'd always give some childish, unbelievable explanation like, I'm going to go on an adventure around the world. Then he'd actually do it. From then on, that's how it always was. It wasn't unusual for him to be gone for a month, and at times he didn't come home for half a year. The Emiya Mansion is an expansive Japanese samurai-style house, and Kiritsugu and I were the only ones living there. It felt too big and empty for a child like me, and at times I felt lost. But I liked my life there. Whenever Kiritsugu came home from his trips, he would brag and tell stories like an excited child. And another child, one who shared his last name, always looked forward to those stories. I may have been alone in the mansion, but Kiritsugu's stories always helped lessen that. He was always pursuing a dream like a boy. I was wary of his whims, yet at the same time, he always looked radiant to me. Anyway, that's why I hope to be like him one day. Oh, whoop. I actually forgot. Give me a sec. I forgot to post that I'd started to stream on my socials. Well, as childish as I might have been, I realized I needed to get back my act together, since I had an old man with his head constantly in the clouds. One day, I hear a sound. The heavy rusted hinges on the door creak as it's being pushed open. Light pours in through the crack in the door. My mind tries to shake off the slumber.
起きてますか？
I hear footsteps drawing near, and I feel the winter air flowing in. Morning, Sakura.
はい。おはようございます、先輩。先輩、朝ですよ。まだ時間はありますけど、ここで眠っていたら藤村先生に怒られます。
Oh yeah, thanks for waking me up as
そんな
always.
ことありません。先輩、いつも朝は早いですから。こんな風に起こしに来れるなんてたまにしかありません。
I'm not sure why, but Sakura looks more cheerful than usual. I don't know about that. I think you wake me up more often than you think. Then again, Fujini is brutal when she's the one waking me up. But so I prefer you to do it. Yep, I learned my lesson. I'll try not to sleep in here next time. I answer that, still half asleep. My head's still not right, so even I don't know what I'm saying.
はい、わかりました。でも、頑張ってもらわない方が嬉しいです、私。
Sakura is giggling. Heck, I must have been so sleepy I've said something weird. Give me a minute to wake up. The cold winter air helps at times like this. The chill snaps my lethargic mind awake. And in front of me stands my junior at school, Sakura Moto. I'm in my house's storeroom, and it's just about 6 o'clock in the morning.
先輩、
Yeah, I'm awake now. Sorry, Sakura, I did it again. I need to help you with breakfast.
そんなのいいんです。先輩、夕べも遅かったんでしょ？なら、朝はゆっくりしてください。朝食の支度は私がしておきますから。
Sakura is practically bouncing with excitement. That's odd. Sakura is really energetic this morning. No, I'm getting up, honest. So let's head to the kitchen together. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go, Sakura.
いえ、その、先輩、
Huh? Wait, what? Is something wrong?
いえ、そういうことではないんですけど、その、先輩、家に戻る前に着替えた方がいいと思います。
I don't mind, but at least put on a shirt. Oh. I finally looked at myself. I fell asleep working last night, so I'm still wearing my overalls. The coveralls I wear while I'm working are usually dirty. Who knows what Fujini would... Who knows what Fujini would say or do if I went into the house as is. Okay. I guess I'm not quite awake yet. I must be more out of it than usual.
そうかもしれませんね。ですから、朝食の支度は私に任せて、先輩はもう少しゆっくりしていてください。それにほら、ここを散らかしっぱなしにしていたら、藤村先生に怒られるでしょ？
Yeah, then I'll change. Then I'll get changed. So you go on ahead.
はい、お待ちしてますね、先輩。
Sakura quickly walks out. Okay then. I'll change in my school uniform first. Then I need to collect all the parts I left scattered around. The storehouse is in the corner of the backyard, and all sorts of junk is crammed in there. Though I've always liked to tinker with gadgets, so the place is a treasure trove to me. The old man forbade me to go into the storehouse, but I ignored his warnings and snuck inside almost every day. Now it's sort of a base for me. I guess you can call this place my real room. The massive Amiya house never felt homey to me, but I've always felt at ease in there, surrounded by all this junk. Besides, it's wasteful. It may be junk, but a lot of it still works. I still gotta ask, what the hell is this thing? I have never figured out what this thing is. Like, is it a heater or something? Or a pipe or something? A pipe connection? A majority of those things in the storehouse are everyday things, mostly unusable. I'm not sure whether I brought it in at all. I'm not sure whether I brought it at all in because I liked it in here, or whether I liked this place because it was full of junk. Either way, I snuck into the storehouse almost daily, and I made sort of a hobby of fixing broken things. I'm not the type to get I'm not the type who gets attached to these things. But it just didn't feel right to neglect things that are still usable. Or maybe it would be better to say the idea of doing that just bothered me. Which is why I stayed up all night trying to fix a broken stove. Oh, this must be a stove. I guess I'll be done tomorrow. Falling asleep midway is proof I'm not concentrating. I try to shake off my self-disgust at that. I gather the parts for the stove and pull them back on the shelf of things waiting to get fixed. There's more room though. Once I fix the stove, an old VCR is up next. Both of which were destroyed by Fujini. We can set that aside for now. She was practicing kendo and accidentally knocked it over. That has to be it. Okay then. I change into my school uniform. Since the storehouse is like my room, I have all the essentials, including changes of clothes in here. The rest are things like haphazardly drawn blueprints scattered all over the place, and little junk from my failed attempts at fixing various things. Also, there's some sort of pattern carved into the storehouse's floor, perhaps used as some sort of an altar in the past. Okay, gotta work hard again today. I clap my hands in prayer at the storehouse and turn towards the mansion. I walk from the storehouse to the mansion. This Amiya residence is a Japanese samurai-style house, located on the outskirts of town. My old man wasn't from a notable family, yet for some reason he owned this giant house. That in itself was a mystery, and it also seems he didn't have any relatives here in Japan. And so when my old man died, there was no one else to inherit this mansion, so it came to me as his adopted son. Though to be honest, I don't have any administrative abilities. So things like inheritance, property taxes, and any other complicated things are all handled by Old Man Fujimura. Old Man Fujimura is a major businessman who lives nearby. Kuretsugu described Old Man Fujimura as an old man who's like a Yakuza boss. Obviously, that was his own biased view. In fact, Old Man Fujimura is not like a Yakuza boss, he is a Yakuza boss. That may be a problem in itself, but I try not to dwell on it. Anyway, that's why I live in this giant mansion on my own. It's been 5 years since my old man died. Time sure does fly. I sigh, thinking about how much I've grown in those 5 years. I trained every day to become like Kuretsugu, but it's much easier said than done. It's not surprising, since I didn't have what it takes from the start, but the fact that I haven't improved at all these past 5 years forces me to reassess things. If I had to sum up my current situation, I'd say I set the bar too high. I haven't even reached the starting line. No, rushing won't do me any good. For now, I just have to do what I can. Okay then. What I need to do now is... Okay, so if I go to breakfast, I'll get a point towards Sakura. And if I go to the dojo, I'll get an explanation of the dojo. I will get it looks like I will get an explanation of the dojo later anyway. But there are 2 points I have to have in their own save file. Just for expediency. So we are going to help Sakura. Right, I need to help Sakura. Making someone younger than me do all the work would be embarrassing. And I feel bad for Sakura coming here so early in the morning. But I'm too late. Breakfast looks done already. Looks to be done already. The appetizing scent of the breakfast Sakura cooked swapped towards me from the kitchen. Sakura finished cooking, and she searched the cupboard for dishes. Sorry, I can't at least serve everything, so go and sit down. wasn't exactly quick. It's already 10 past 6, and that's when we're usually eating breakfast. So yeah, I overslept.
そんなことはないと思いますよ。先輩は部活をしていないんですから、この時間は十分に早起きです。
Clubs have nothing to do with it, and if they do, you coming by in the mornings must be a lot of trouble since you do have morning practice.
いえ、私は好きでしていることですから、部活のことは気にしないでください。
Yeah, you keep saying that, which is why I wake up early, club or no. If you're coming by, it'd be rude to still be asleep. To me, waking up early is waking up before Sakura gets here, and oversleeping means I make Sakura prepare breakfast on her own, like today. Though this arrangement started only about a year and a half ago. You said, Sakura, the food just needs to be plated and set on the table. So, at least let me do that. I stand next to Sakura and pull out the dishes. Sakura has a surprisingly stubborn side, so she won't rest unless I really push.
なら、私もお手伝いします。お皿には私が盛りますから、先輩はお茶碗を出してください。
No, I'm saying I'll do it all myself.
いけません。先輩はお家の主人なんですから、朝くらいはドーンと構えていてください。
Act all important? I wouldn't be much of a head of the house if I made you do all the work while I sat back, now would I? Come on, go and sit in the sitting room, Sakura, as opposed to the standing in the standing room. Yes, I know there's a place. I know there is an actual room called the sitting room. I'm just being a funny.
はい、ぜひ失格してください。これ、いつも美味しいご飯を食べさせてもらっているお返しなんです。だからできれば、先輩にはゆっくりしていてほしいです。
Real talk? This is just like between my mom and my sister. They go through this all the time. Hey, we split the cost of groceries, so you shouldn't worry about that. In fact, I'm the one who should be thanking you. Ever since you started coming by, I've been eating a lot better.
やっぱり、先輩、分かってなかったんですね。先輩のお家のご飯が美味しいのは、そういうことじゃないんです。
Baka senpai. Yeah, Shiro is kind of one of those protagonists. There are memes about it. Huh? What do you mean?
いえ、なんでもありません。けど、責任取ってくださいね。私、先輩の家じゃないと、ご飯を美味しくいただけなくなっちゃったんですから。
That's a weird thing to say. What if Fujini heard that? She doesn't get sarcastic jokes.
そうですね。藤村先生に聞かれたら大変です。
Right, so don't say stuff like that.
はい、言いません。言いませんから、お手伝いしていいですよね、先輩。
Sakura looked at me in the eyes so naturally and calmly. Fine, do what you want. If you want it so badly, I'll have you do everything.
はい、好きにします、私。
That's pretty much how it goes between me and my mom, between my sister and my mom. I swear. Honestly, you don't listen to anything I tell you anymore, Sakura.
ですね。藤村先生に似てきたのかもしれません。
She responds softly as she reaches towards the cupboard. Her dark hair gently falls over her shoulder, and the curves of her body catch my eye. I can't explain it, but it's awkward. I'm not sure if it's our age, but Sakura has been looking more feminine lately. That is called puberty. Her casual movements and her profile are so pretty, and I inadvertently avert my eyes.
先輩、どうかしましたか?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's baffling. Wait, was that supposed to be voiced? I think they possibly made a mistake because I think it's Sakura who did that. Honestly, it's baffling. Why the hell am I getting nervous around my friend's younger sister? Sakura is just a really good and considerate younger friend of mine, and she is someone and I really look after. I need to look after. She's the younger sister of a friend of mine. We used to be friendly, though initially we weren't very close, and she's a grade below me. It was only a year and a half ago that our relationship became more what it is now. Sakura started to come back and cook meals for me when I got hurt, and things kind of stayed like that. I think this arrangement was supposed to last until I got better, but I guess something or other happened, and somehow we ended up helping out. She ended up helping out with the household chores. Either way, Sakura's a good cook, and her cleaning and laundry skills are perfect. Having her come early in the morning is a big help, but it's been concerning recently. Sakura isn't the problem, it's me. I'm sure being flustered by my friend and sister is part of the reason I feel guilty. Usually I'm unfazed, but when I blush because I get caught off guard like now, I wonder whether I wonder whether that's problematic as her senpai. Breakfast is lined up neatly on the table. A perfectly balanced meal of chicken and parsley salad, grilled salmon and blanched spinach, miso soup with radish and carrots, and grated yam soup.
Itadakimasu.
Ah, both of it was voiced. Sakura and I sit down and bow and begin our meal in silence. The gentle tapping of chopsticks is the only sound in the room. Sakura isn't typically talkative, and I hardly have anything to chat about during meals. So we eat in silence. Normally it's much rowdier than this, but the person who usually causes the commotion must have watched a spy movie or something last night, because he's eyeing the two of us through a newspaper she propped up in front of her food.
藤村先生、ご飯時に新聞は見ない方がいいと思いますよ。
Sakura remarks diffidently, but Fujini ignores her. Fujini's acting weird, but her being weird wasn't. But her being weird at breakfast isn't really all that weird for her. Ironically. Sakura's used to it too, and she's eating as if nothing's the matter. Sakura typically cooks up Western dishes. She really only began cooking, learning to cook Japanese dishes since she started coming here to help me out. Sakura learned to cook simple Japanese dishes, at least for breakfast, because Fujini and I prefer them. Now Sakura's cooking and skills have improved to the point where she's better than me, and I'm the one who was teaching her. Her miso soup is flavorful and refined now, and she's even gotten to the point where she can grate yams to make yam soup. Actually, I think today's the first time she served yam soup. Sorry, Sakura, could you pass the soy sauce?
はい。大変です、先輩。先輩のお醤油は昨日で切れてます。
Then I can use Fujini's. Pass it over.
藤村先生、いいですか?
Fujini nods. The newspaper shuffles.
はい、どうぞ。とろろ汁に使うんですか?
Yeah, everyone puts soy sauce on grated yams. A line of soy sauce streams from the bottle down to the grated white mound. I stir the mixture up, pour it over my rice, and take a bite. The thickness of the grated yam combined with the intense flavor of the soy sauce. What the? This isn't soy sauce, it's oyster sauce! Fujini tosses her newspaper onto the table with an enthusiastic flip of her wrists. Let's remember, this woman's a teacher. The not-so-mysterious spy punches the air in victory. That face. Who pulls a stunt like that first thing in the morning? You're going to turn 25 this year, but you're still the same child as Fujini I have always known. People can't enact divine injustice. I knew you were weirdly quiet. I can't believe you've been plotting this since yesterday. You have entirely too much free time on your hands. That is true. It's called divine justice because it's supposed to come from supernatural entities. Fujini sits back down and shovels her breakfast into her mouth. And off she goes, stomping out in a rush. There's something terribly wrong with the world that allows someone like her to be a teacher. Sorry that Fujini hardly savored the breakfast. She took so much time to work, so much work in the making. Well, I accidentally called her by her nickname.
仕方ありませんね。先輩、藤村先生に謝らなかったんでしょう。
Sorry, I forgot, but only because that kind of stuff happens all the time.
ダメですよ。藤村先生、先輩にあだ名を言われるのだけは嫌がるんですから。また泣かせちゃったんでしょう。
I mean, respect people's choices. If they don't want to be called by something, called something, don't call them that. Doesn't matter if they're trans or not, or if it's a chosen name or a nickname. If they don't want to be called by it, don't call them it. Not only did I make her cry, she also ran away like a scared rabbit. And thanks to that incident, yesterday's English class ended up being a study hall. In fact, everyone in class worked together to make an award for me from their notebook paper because of that. I threw it away, obviously.
もう、それじゃあ、今朝のは先輩が悪いです。
Fujini is like an older sister to Sakura. So she's typically on Fujini's side, which is fine on its own. But she would consider the fact that I have to deal with Fujini all day long. Fujini was originally an acquaintance of my old man, and she's swung by the house pretty frequently since I was adopted. She kept on coming over even after my old man died, and now she acts like a freeloader, eating breakfast and dinner every day. Actually, it might be thanks to Fujini that I was able to make it on my own after my old man died. And now it is me, Fujini, and Sakura here who are residents of the Samiya house. But at the same time, I'm the only one who knows that my old man was a mage. They say mages have to keep that part of their lives secret. Which is why I've also been hiding from others that I'm learning magecraft after I became my old man's apprentice. Learning may be a bit of a stretch, really, since I can barely use magecraft properly. So it wouldn't be much of a difference whether I hide magecraft or not. But since it was my old man's dying wish, I've been training in secret. I finish my breakfast and get ready for school. I put away the dishes with Sakura and I finish and I listen to the news on TV in the background. Sakura is looking blankly at the TV. A flashy contraption and reading "Gas leaks continue" pops up on the screen. There seems to have been a big accident in the neighboring city of Shinto. It happened in a building in the business district. Apparently, everyone on one of its floors lost consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Authorities have been calling it an accident resulting from gas leak, but for some reason, these accidents have been happening often. Are you worried about the incident, Sakura?
いえ、別に。ただ、事故がシントで起きているなら近いなって。先輩、シントの方でアルバイトしていますよね。
Yeah, but the shop's not that big. I don't think an accident like that would happen there. But I can't entirely ignore the idea either. Gas leaks can happen in any building, and it especially pains me to think that hundreds of people have fallen victim. Some say these accidents are happening because of faulty construction and work during the rapid development into projects in Shinto. Either way, I hope there won't be any more victims. It's a disturbing story. We need to be careful too.
それならご心配なく先輩。ガスの元栓はいつも2回チェックしてますから安心です。
Sakura proudly proclaims, "No, that's not my point. Yep, I've always known Sakura is a little off too.